Tano, the divine river spirit of the Akan. The water speaks if you know how to listen. In Ghana, where the great Tano River carves its path through lush forests and verdant valleys, generations have heard its voice, not as metaphor, but as divine reality. For here flows not merely water, but the physical manifestation of one of West Africa's most revered deities, Tano, firstborn of the Abosom, spokesman of the Creator, master of healing, and keeper of sacred oaths. When the first rains fall on distant highlands, when the river swells with new life, the Akan people whisper, Tano is coming. His waters have witnessed the rise and fall of great kingdoms, carried the prayers of countless devotees, and held the secrets of powerful medicine for centuries uncounted. Even today, as concrete cities expand and new religions flourish, countless people still approach his banks with reverence, seeking blessings that modern science cannot provide. Welcome to an exploration of Tano, the river deity whose spiritual current runs deeper than the waters that bear his name. I'm your guide on this journey into one of Africa's most enduring and profound spiritual traditions, a tradition where rivers are not merely resources but relationships, not simply water, but wisdom incarnate. The cosmic origins of Tano. In Akan cosmology, divine beings exist in a complex hierarchy. At the summit stands Nyame, the supreme creator, with his feminine counterpart, Asa Aseya, the earth goddess. Below them are the Abosom, singular Obosom, powerful spiritual entities who serve as intermediaries between humans and the divine creator. Among these Abosom, Tano holds a position of particular prominence. According to traditional accounts, he was the firstborn of the Abosom, the first divine child of Nyame. This primogeniture grants him special authority among the spiritual powers, making him something of a spokesman for the Creator God himself. The name Tano applies both to the deity and to the river that serves as his primary physical manifestation. Flowing through the Brong Ahafo and Ashanti regions of Ghana, the Tano River stretches approximately 400 kilometers from its source in the highlands to its mouth at the Atlantic Ocean. Throughout this course, various locations are considered especially sacred, places where the deity's presence is particularly potent and accessible. Unlike some divine beings who dwell in remote heavens, Tano exists simultaneously in multiple realms. He is present in every droplet of his river, yet also maintains spiritual abodes beyond the physical world. This dual nature makes him immediately accessible to devotees who need to merely visit his waters to connect with his power. The domains and powers of Tano's influence extends across several crucial domains of human experience, making him one of the most frequently consulted and propitiated deities in the traditional Akan pantheon. Healing and medicine. Perhaps Tano's most celebrated function is as a healing deity. The waters of his river are believed to contain powerful curative properties, especially effective against fevers, skin conditions, and reproductive disorders. Traditional healers, known as Tano Komfo, collect water from specific locations along the river for medicinal preparations, often combining it with herbs that grow along the banks, plants considered to be under Tano's special influence. The healing power is not merely in the physical properties of the water, but in the deity's spiritual blessing upon it. Devotees often travel great distances to collect water from Tano's river, storing it in special containers for later medicinal use. Some shrines dedicated to Tano maintain permanent supplies of this sacred water, dispensing it to those in need, along with appropriate prayers and ritual observances. Particularly severe or persistent illnesses might require the afflicted person to visit the river directly, immersing themselves while specific incantations are pronounced by ritual specialists. These healing ceremonies often involve elaborate protocols, with the timing, location, and ritual elements determined by divination to maximize Tano's favorable response. Protection and spiritual defense. Beyond physical healing, Tano provides spiritual protection against malevolent forces. Amulets containing river water or sand from Tano's banks are worn to ward off witchcraft, spiritual attacks, and general misfortune. These protective talismans, asuman, require periodic recharging through ritual contact with the river's waters. Homes and businesses may be spiritually fortified using Tano's protection, typically by burying specially prepared containers of river water at the foundations or entrances to buildings. Warriors historically sought Tano's blessing before battle, sometimes carrying small amounts of river water into combat for divine protection. This protective function extends to entire communities. Many traditional Akan settlements maintained shrines to Tano at their perimeters, creating a spiritual boundary that harmful influences could not penetrate. During times of epidemic or conflict, communal rituals invoking Tano's protection would be performed at these boundary shrines. One of Tano's most feared and respected functions is as witness and enforcer of oaths. The most solemn vows in traditional Akan society were sworn by Tano, with the understanding that breaking such an oath would invite swift and severe divine punishment, typically in the form of illness, misfortune, or even death. This aspect of Tano served crucial social functions, particularly in matters where empirical evidence was limited. A person accused of theft or other misconduct might be required to drink water in which a symbol of Tano had been immersed while swearing their innocence. False oaths were believed to result in the swearer's body swelling with dropsy, a visible divine judgment. Even today, in areas where traditional practices remain strong, disputes may be resolved by oath-swearing ceremonies involving Tano. The belief in his unfailing justice makes such oath-taking a powerful truth verification mechanism in communities where formal legal systems may be inaccessible or distrusted. Fertility and prosperity. Like many water deities worldwide, Tano is associated with fertility and abundance. Couples struggling to conceive often direct their prayers to him, sometimes spending nights near his river or bathing in specific portions of it, known for fertility-enhancing properties. This fertility aspect extends beyond human reproduction to agricultural prosperity. Traditional farmers might collect Tano's water to sprinkle on fields before planting, ensuring bountiful harvests. Fishing communities along the river perform special rituals to Tano before major fishing expeditions, requesting his blessing on their nets and boats. The general prosperity of communities is also considered to fall under Tano's influence. Market women might make offerings to him for successful trading, while craftspeople could dedicate their workshops to his protection to ensure skill and profitable commissions. The human intermediaries who serve Tano form a distinct and influential spiritual class within traditional Akan society, the Tano Kamfo. The priests and priestesses dedicated to Tano, known as Tano Kamfo, undergo extensive training before being recognized as legitimate intermediaries of the deity. The calling to serve Tano typically manifests through signs such as unexplained illnesses, dreams featuring river imagery, or unusual encounters with water creatures. Once identified as potential servants of Tano, candidates enter a rigorous apprenticeship lasting several years. During this period, they learn the specific rituals, taboos, prayers, and medicinal knowledge associated with the deity. They also develop the ability to enter possession trance states, during which Tano himself is believed to temporarily inhabit their bodies, speaking directly to the community. The training culminates in elaborate initiation ceremonies conducted at the river itself, where the new Komfo establishes a personal covenant with Tano. From this point forward, they serve as living links between the community and the deity, conducting rituals, preparing medicines, and interpreting Tano's will through various divination methods. Major shrines dedicated to Tano often develop into distinctive communities with their own social structures and economic activities. These shrine towns, such as Tano Bos in Ghana, become centers of pilgrimage where people from various regions gather to seek Tano's blessings. Within these communities, hierarchies exist based on proximity to the deity. The chief priest or priestess, Tano Komfo Payin, holds supreme religious authority, supported by various assistants responsible for specific ritual functions. Shrine attendants, Abrafo, maintain the physical structures and assist visitors in proper protocol, while apprentices study to eventually assume full priestly functions. Many shrine communities maintain economic independence through gifts from suppliants, dedicated farmlands whose produce supports the priests, and sometimes craft industries, producing ritual items associated with Tano worship. This economic self-sufficiency has historically given Tano shrines significant autonomy, allowing them to function as alternative power centers alongside traditional political authorities. The daily life of devotees. For ordinary devotees, relationship with Tano involves regular observances integrated into daily life rather than confined to special occasions. Monday is traditionally considered Tano's sacred day, when fishing in his river and farming near its banks are prohibited. On this day, devoted followers wear white clothing, abstain from sexual activity, and avoid quarreling or using harsh language. Special meals might be prepared, and small portions offered to the deity before the family eats. Personal shrines to Tano in homes might consist of a white pot containing river water, periodically renewed through visits to the river. Morning and evening prayers at these household shrines maintain the connection to the deity between visits to major temple complexes. Annual pilgrimages to Tano's river often coincide with agricultural cycles, particularly before planting and after harvest. These journeys serve both spiritual and social functions, as devotees from different communities gather, reinforcing regional ties through shared ritual experience. Tano's rituals and ceremonies. The veneration of Tano involves varied ritual practices, from simple daily observances to elaborate annual ceremonies. The most common ritual honoring Tano is the pouring of libations, a practice where drink, traditionally palm wine, schnapps, or clear water, is poured onto the ground or directly into the river while prayers are spoken. This simple yet profound act acknowledges Tano's presence and maintains the reciprocal relationship between humans and deity. The language of these prayers follows traditional formulae, typically beginning with acknowledging Nyame, the supreme god, then Asa Seya, the earth goddess, followed by the ancestors, before finally addressing Tano himself. Specific requests for healing, protection, fertility, or justice are then articulated, concluding with promises of gratitude and further offerings if the petitions are granted. Beyond liquids, Tano accepts offerings including white eggs, symbolizing purity, yams, representing prosperity, white cloth, and occasionally animals such as white chickens or sheep. These more substantial offerings usually accompany major requests or expressions of gratitude for significant blessings received.